Yeah. Well, the Oilers get it done with the dramatics in overtime. Hi, everybody. Welcome to the Oil Stream Postgame Show. Tom Gazzola, Matt Kassian with you, and YouTube Trev. If you're watching on YouTube, thank you. We appreciate it. Hit that thumbs up button. The Oilers get it done in OT and beat the Kraken with another natural hat trick. This time not to start the game, but to end the game. And Matty Kassian, our game analyst, along for the ride, of course. If you're listening on the way home, we appreciate you. If you're on the TuneIn app, thank you. Or if you're listening on our audio stream, we appreciate that so very, very much. If you want to get in on the conversation, you know the number, 780-218-9999. And if you're watching, you can get in on the nasty chat. I see the nasty chat's buzzing already. We appreciate that. So many things to be appreciative of tonight when it comes to everything that transpired. And we're going to start with the scoring summary, and then we're going to get into the breakdown from Cass as the Oilers get their 5th win of the season, improving to 5-9-1. Make it a 3-game winning streak for the Orange and Blue. Nice. About damn time. About damn time. No scoring in the first period. Second period, Connor McDavid would get his 4th on a nice feed from Leon Draisaitl. Evan Bouchard, the second assist at 5:21. McDavid, great speed and good recognition by Draisaitl to suck Adam Larson in and overcommit and then make the nice backhand pass to a streaking McDavid. He makes it 1-0. However, at 7:20, not long after, Jared McCann on a fluky play where Stuart Skinner tries to shoo the puck into the corner and it goes off of McCann, who's going to the post. And it banks off his leg and in 1-1 at that point, the assist to Eberle and Alexiak. And then later in the period, a couple minutes later, to be exact, Pierre-Edouard Bellemare in the slot with the redirection off the Ty Cartier shot. Vince Dunn, the secondary assist. And it was 2-1 Seattle at that point at 9:24. And then the Kraken would make it 3-1. Alex Wenberg with a really nice shifty move in the slot. Some confusion, let's call it, in front of Stuart Skinner as Matthias Ekholm didn't recognize Wenberg was creeping in from behind the net. And I believe it was Warren Fogle didn't pick him up as well. So Wenberg had time to a little juke and jive and then tuck it home past Skinner, Tolvanen, and Bjorkstrand, the assist on Wenberg's first of the year at 17:21. In the third period, say hello to the Evander Kane show at 13:28. A redirection for Kane, his 5th of the year off of Bouchard. Shot pass, Ekholm, the second assist, 3-2 to cut the Seattle lead. And then Kane with, 46 seconds remaining off a face-off. Draisaitl wins it. He got Bellemare. He kind of out-muscled him. And then the puck goes to the point. Nugent Hopkins with the feet down to Draisaitl with the one-touch pass over to Kane. He takes 2 cracks at it, and the second one goes in to even things up. And then into OT we go. Evander Kane will get the job done, completing the hat trick and capping off the night in style at 2:57 of OT from Zach Hyman and Evan Bouchard. Tail of the tape from this one. Shots on goal, 36-32 in favor of the Kraken. Face-offs, 50%. Right down the middle, the Oilers' power play goes 0 for 3. The PK, 5 for 5. So that was good. And hits, 26 for Seattle to Edmonton's 20. Block shots, 20 for the Oil to the Kraken's 13. Matty Kassian, takeaways off the top from this one as the Oilers put 3 wins in a row together. Very nice.
Yeah, you put 3 together. Now, that was an ugly way to get the third, but who cares?
Yeah.
You found a way. Wasn't a pretty game. You didn't control the game. You let, for a good portion of it, Seattle dictate it. But hey, you got the 2 points, Tommy. And in a week, that's all we're going to care about.
Yeah. Do you want to get into how they got those 2 points? You mentioned it wasn't pretty, especially in the second and third period. Cass, I don't know. It seemed like old habits were creeping in again,
Oh
and
yeah.
that's a bit concerning.
Oh, of course it is. But you're not going to crack that in a day. It's
Right.
not just going to mystically magically go away. Like you're going to have to work through that and continue to work through it. And we saw those habits. I mean, we've seen lots of comments in the nasty chat about Bouchard. And
Mhm.
listen, granted, he did some really good things offensively, created some offense. 2 fake slap shots tonight that led to goals. One on one of Kane's and the other on in the overtime goal. So listen, he does some really good things offensively. Also just gets absolutely worked in the defensive zone with
Yeah.
his apathetic play. And it's like that patience that he has offensively to pump fake, to make moves, to look for plays. He just it's like that switch can't flip in the defensive zone to be like, no, I actually have to be intense when I don't have the puck. I can't just kind of which serves him well sometimes in the offensive zone. With
Right.
that being said, I noticed a couple times he missed passes, like misplaced them, or threw a couple grenades too. So it's like a tale of 2 nights wrapped into one. How does that classic phrase go? Book quote: "It was the best of times. It was the worst of times." I
Right.
kind of feel like that was that was Evan Bouchard's night tonight,
Yeah.
where it was like a little bit of both.
Ooh, well, at the end of the day, like you said, they pick up the 2 points. Doesn't matter how they get the job done, and that's twice in a 5-day span. They get a natural hat trick against the Seattle Kraken, and 2 points is 2 points is 2 points. Let's dip it to the nasty chat and the inbox. If you have any questions, concerns, comments in regard to tonight's game, or you want to float something to Cass, hit us up 780-218-9999 or via the nasty chat. I saw one from Austin Hockey, said wasn't pretty, but we take it. Jeff Hunter says Bouchard takes it away, then gives it right back. Yes, but ultimately they get the job done. Gord says, Tommy, you need to dress more casual. Gord, I literally came from the game and just got ready to go for the post-game shows.
You look
So
good, Tom. Don't let
thank you,
him.
Gord.
I like it. You look
Yes,
sharp,
I appreciate that. I want to bring a
and you
little bit
can't
of.
see it. You can't see it, but he's not wearing pants, so he is pretty casual.
Don't tell them that. I've got the damn dog running around here too. She's chewing on her bone and causing a commotion. So I apologize if you can hear her doing that. Yeah, there she is. Oh, great. Let's go to the inbox now, 780-218-9999. All caps for this one. The Bison Mask guy says, that's what you call relentless. Should call him now. Relentless Evander Kane, Nuge, Kane, Hyman has to be a line. No question about it. That's from the Bison Mask guy. This one, and I wanted to get to this with you, comes in from Ho Daddy. Ho Daddy, good to hear from you. Says, interesting move starting 2 defensemen in overtime. I'm guessing the thought is to change McDavid on once we get possession and not waste his energy trying to get the puck if we lose the faceoff too many times. We've seen 97 and 29 get gassed in OT, so I like the change. You saw Chris Knobloch say something to Connor McDavid right before OT was about to start. And I mentioned to you, what'd you think of that, Cass, when they
I
started
liked it.
Bouchard, Ekholm, and Draisaitl for overtime?
Yeah. Yeah, I liked it. I mean, you're giving a little bit of a different look. You're thinking, okay, maybe we can try to get a mismatch. Maybe if, and the thought can be too, is if, we have possession and we have it for a little bit, if we can get McDavid out against some guys that are tired, well, then he's going to have more space to create. And I think that was the thought is, okay, you know what? Let's go make sure we get the puck back and don't give up a goal, and then put McDavid out there. So I don't mind that at all. I don't mind it at all. Now, some people may be like, well, you're not putting your best player on the ice, and I understand that, but yeah, it was a little bit of a different look. Certainly not what Seattle was expecting, and
Mm-hmm.
even McDavid generated two chances, really two really good chances, one for himself and one for Ryan Nugent-Hopkins. Ultimately, those don't go in, and it's Evander Kane that plays the hero. But hey, it worked, so I'm not going to complain about that. And play a little bit more. I don't even want to say cautious, Tommy, but just say, hey, let's take care of ourselves first here, and then go score a goal.
I saw another text I really wanted to get to. This one says, G-Dog, the Hog, they stopped playing for Woody just like they stopped playing for Tippett. Now this is the Oilers we are used to last year. They will climb quick here. Are you buying that with 2 games into the Chris Knobloch tenure here, Cass?
Not yet. Not yet. You won 3 games in a row. I'll start buying into it if they string it to 5. You have a tough tough trip coming up here against some really good teams.
Mm-hmm.
If you can string 5, you win the next 2, I'll probably start jumping back on the wagon. But as we said, it wasn't like it was a pretty win tonight. Again, you take them, and
Yep.
good teams get wins in ugly fashion all the time. That's something that you want. It's something that they didn't get earlier in the year. So it is great. I'm not planning the parade yet, Tommy. They got more to prove.
All right. This one says, Tommy, just saw on Instagram that the Jonas Brothers were at the game tonight. Good luck charms. Yeah, they were there. Oddly enough, they were there. Maybe they are good luck charms. I don't know, but the Oilers managed to pull off the dramatic come from behind victory with the Jonas brothers in attendance. All right, let's go to Dirty Curdy. Says message sent via OT config by Nobby that they need other players to step up, and they did. That one from Dirty Curdy. If I suggested, Cass, that we kind of saw a little bit more jump in McDavid's step, maybe that's a sign that he is feeling better. Is that a stretch, or did you see that too?
No, I think we've started to see that the last couple games though. Like, and I think I've mentioned it before, either on the pregame or the postgame shows, where it does feel like he's having more extended bursts. Because before, and for a while, it was like you wouldn't really see any of those flashes. Like you'd see like one a game where you're like, oh, that looks like McDavid.
Mm-hmm.
But we've been starting to see them more and more. And you saw a little bit in overtime. I think you saw a couple shifts in the game when he did it. So hopefully he's getting back to it. Hopefully. But I don't know. I don't know, Tom. Was it just the adrenaline of the comeback, or is he actually getting better? I'm not
I
sure.
thought there was the goal, great burst. Great play by Draisaitl on the backhand pass. Darnell Nurse deserves credit for the defensive effort late in the game. Saved the goal. We should note that as well. That was very important. Pers texts in. Pers says, look at McDavid's last 5 shifts. Long, 1:45 to end the third. Probably needed the rest. Good point, Pers. Thanks for the text. Justin just says, TG. Nice win. Yeah, that was a good. You take the 2 points. It wasn't the prettiest win, but a win is a win. And I guess we'll let nice win float today for sure. This one says ugly game, but that was some Oiler effort for a change. Great push at the end. Cass, if you were Chris Knobloch and you're preparing for a Saturday matinee matchup in Tampa against the Lightning, what would be some of the things on the flight tomorrow, or maybe in the meetings leading into practice before the team flies out tomorrow, that you want this team to kind of address heading into that game?
Well, first off, on the plane, I'm going to change a seating plan. So
Oh,
defense partners are going to have to sit together. Forward lines are going to have to sit as together as they can. Or actually, I'm changing the type of plane. I'm going to be like, no, we're getting a plane that's 3 seats. So our defenseman can sit together, and centerman has to sit in between
that'll
the
go over
wingers.
well.
Yep, real well.
Yeah.
Needs McDavid and Draisaitl in middle seats, but you know what? We're going for better communication. So that's the first thing I'm changing.
Wow.
Because apparently, changing where everyone sits in the dressing room gets you a win. So we're starting with that. Beyond that, I mean, I think you're preaching resiliency in that. Yeah, this wasn't a great game, but great job getting the win. Big emotional win. And Tom, this win could do more for them than the last 2, because it's not only is it 3 in a row, but it was a way to win in a dirty game, in an ugly game, which again, they haven't found a way to do that. So I think the message is, yes, we got lots to do that we can do better, but fantastic job sticking with it and finding a way. And that's what you're going to preach. Now you're heading into Tampa against a team that I think has a lot more offensive potential and output than the Seattle Kraken. So you also are going to be going back to hey, we need to continue to do things well. We need to continue to, or start, or, not lose battles like the one that Evan Bouchard lost along the wall. We need to continue to clean things up. But I think that the core message, and one from a confidence standpoint, now that you've won a couple games in a row, is that, you know what, we can be better, but great job winning a hockey game.
Couple of nasty chat texts I want to get to. Kevin says that was not an ugly win. It was a galvanizing win. Arrows up, boys. I understand that. I think that's a good way to describe it for sure, Kevin. Another one says from Gordon, Gager into the wobbly pops. Cass, I think I saw you comment about Gager getting into it. Is Is he in the chat, and is he wetting his whistle, as they say?
He might be. He said he doesn't drink pop. And I was like, well, you know what I'm talking about. Then someone made a comment about me and ginger ale, and then I refuted them. I don't know if I understood what they were saying because I am not a ginger.
I
I'm
like
not.
this one. You're not a ginger, no.
No.
Jerry Mancini says this was a McLaren type of win tonight, and he directed that one towards Joaquin Gage. Yeah, hey,
There you
it's a
go.
win, not the
Yep.
prettiest. Yeah.
Not the prettiest, but you got it done.
Okay. One thing, not really something that has to do with offense and defense, but a play that Adam Ernie made on Pierre-Edouard Bellemare. Is there going to be discipline for that hit to the head?
Probably. His name's not McDavid or Draisaitl. He's not an all-star, so they will throw the book at him. I think that's a one-game suspect.
Yeah.
Really, probably a single game. I mean, it wasn't, Bellemare not unless, post game he has issues and concussion problems or something like that. But that was a forearm shiver. I mean, that was a penalty. I was kind of surprised. I thought it was going to be a 5.
So did I actually.
Thought it was going to be a 5. They definitely are going to take a look at it, and I would assume that's a 1-game suspension. I mean, it was straight to the head.
Yeah.
Wasn't like it brushed up his shoulder. I mean, that's a forearm shiver, 100%. So probably a 1-game suspension.
Yeah, looking at the nasty chat, I get the sense that not a lot of Oiler fans are feeling too bad for Adam Ernie. Didn't really do much tonight, and so yeah, I mean, earns a suspension if he gets it. That's for sure.
What do you think, Tommy? What do you think about that on that note? Because he didn't play a lot. Fourth line didn't get a lot of minutes.
No,
we saw a reversion in the second period when they weren't playing well to go back to McDavid and Draisaitl.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
There was some chatter in the press box that it had something to do with a power play and both units getting out there and guys from both lines, and that kind of threw the rhythm off. But those two seem to play a bunch of shifts together. And I mean, the impulse or the desire to go to the nuclear option must be so great that and hard to resist for any coach that has those two and is in need of some offense. That we saw Chris Knobloch go to it, a game and a half into his tenure. And he did say, Cass, that there would be times where he would put those guys together coming out of special teams situations, especially if the Oilers kill off a penalty. But I was a little bit surprised to see that those two were there together. And one of the things we said about the other night against the Islanders is there was consistency with the lines. He didn't switch them up or shuffle them up, and it worked. And that was kind of a theme among the players today too. It was, hey, what did you guys think of playing with the same guys all game long and not going to the blender because you were down a goal or two? And they're like, oh, it's not bad. It's not bad. So,
but they weren't down a goal or two. And tonight they were down a couple of goals, and then you go to the blender right away. I mean, I sent it to you and all the other Edmonton sports talk guys. I was just like, I kind of feel, I sent a GIF, but I can't send a GIF right now.
Right.
But I kind of feel it's like McDavid and Draisaitl are like the One Ring from the Lord of the Rings, where it's just like the urge, you have in your possession this magical and terrible power, and the urge to use it is just like too much to not use at points.
Yeah.
Where it just sucks you in. And I understand it. And I get it after penalty kills. Like you want to get both guys back on the ice, especially if they're not penalty killing. I get it in situations at the end of the game, at the end of periods like that I totally get. But I was just kind of like, oh, he went back to him, what seemed like, to my perception, so maybe I'm wrong, but it seemed like he kind of went to it multiple times, and possibly because they were down a goal. But that could just be my perception. Might have to take a peek at it again.
Jason in Leduc says, hey, but they were never trailing, Tommy. Yeah, that's a good point. Totally fair. I understand that. But it was the second period where he went to them, right? And so I get it. But I'm not jumping on him just yet.
No.
It is
I'm not
notable.
jumping on him.
We make a note of it and go, okay.
Yeah. It was just notable. It wasn't a jumping all over. It was a notable. is just notable. It's just something that was curious to me that kind of jumped out.
Mark Hedrick says, awesome comeback win from a longtime fan in Oklahoma City. Let's go Oilers. All right, Mark from OKC. Very nice. A big Barons
Ooh.
fan, I would assume, back in the day. Spent a lot of time down there. Cass, you make your way down there. You've got family down there. That's great. All right, let's go see what's going on in the inbox. 780-218-9999. If you want to get in the conversation, the Oilers win it 4-3 in OT on the back of an Evander Kane natural Hattie, and that's 2 wins against the Kraken in 5 days. That's 3 wins in a row. The Oilers have their first true streak. And now all of a sudden they set their sights on a Tampa Bay Lightning team this Saturday afternoon to make it 4 in a row. A bit of a tougher challenge. They'll need a more thorough, sounder defensive game. Not as many lapses. They kind of got away with it tonight. And we'll see if they can lock it down and make some adjustments with a couple of days of practice. And maybe they get the job done in Tampa. But they've got their 5th win of the year, which is good. This text from SJ, not in the Kootenai, says no such thing as a bad win for sure. But if the Oilers play like that against Tampa, who have people who can actually score, it will be a blowout. This text says, so I guess Draisaitl upending Belmar on faceoff was a clean play in 3rd period 50 seconds ago. What a joke. That text, oddly enough, from Calgary.
Hey, it could have been a penalty.
Sure. He didn't just outmuscle him. If you're to defend Leon Draisaitl, it wasn't just outmuscling Belmar. He dumped him, give him a little shot down there. Could have been a penalty.
Probably. Yeah, probably could have been a penalty, but it wasn't. So little help for the refs. I mean, Lord knows we complain about them enough that maybe we should point out that maybe Seattle could complain on that one.
There was a text in the nasty chat that said, remember this game when you want to bitch about the refs again next time. I'm paraphrasing. I just saw it. I kind of chuckled to myself, but I think it would be fitting to note that right now after that comment. Spills texts in. Spills says, like many fans, I thought it was a bad idea to hire an offensive-minded assistant coach like Coffey, but maybe he can teach them how to jump up at the appropriate times, which might lead to fewer chances going the other way. Better defense by playing offense the right way. That's from Spills. Spills, I'm not going to lie to you, and Cass, I want to hear what you think. I don't know what kind of defensive coach or coach for the defense Paul Coffey is. Maybe he sees the game in a well-rounded manner, that just because he played a highly offensive game, avoided some of the defensive responsibilities that most D-men are tasked with because he was so good offensively. I think it's natural to think that, but I don't know. Like, does Paul Coffey even know what kind of defensive coach he is?
I don't know. He hasn't been a coach before in that capacity for an NHL team. So that there's going to be a little bit of a learning experience for him too. That's why Duncan Keith was around. Maybe
he was in the press box tonight.
Yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you see him around a little bit more. I mean, again, like, well, it's an assumption either way. If your assumption is he can't, doesn't understand the defensive side of the game because he was just a purely offensive player, that's an assumption that I don't think is fair to make at this point. And likewise, it also is an assumption to say, you know what, because of his vision, the way he thought the game, the way he sees the game, and his ability to read, because it was unbelievable, he's going to really, really be able to help. I mean, that's an assumption too. Whatever side of the fence you land on it, at this point, it's too early to say. And they've had one practice. I mean, can you have some things said on the bench? Yes, pointed on the bench, absolutely. But we've had 2 games in one practice, so it's too early to determine that. I mean, I'm hopeful. Hopefully he's able to.
On that note, Cass, did you, in your time playing, I don't know, AHL, NHL, did you ever have like a legend or like a great player coaching you? And because you hear the chatter about like some of the greats who went behind the bench and they have a tough time articulating how to describe the way they see the game because they were on a different plane compared to even some of the best NHL guys. Like people said that about Wayne Gretzky. I know Rocket Richard was the coach of the Quebec Nordiques, like very, very briefly, and it wasn't for him, so he walked away from it. There's been other instances where some great players took over as coach, and it didn't really work out. I mean, or it could go the flip side.
You can go the flip
Pardon
side.
me.
Yep.
Larry Robinson. Larry Robinson won a Stanley Cup with New Jersey, and he was a coach for a long, long time. Did you ever have that experience firsthand with someone like that?
No, not at that level, not at like a Hall of Fame level, not as a coach. But I mean, it just to me, it's like it's obvious that it doesn't directly translate to coaching, because playing and coaching are two very different things.
Mm-hmm.
Playing and coaching are two very different things. The communication is different. The way you lead is different. The way you speak to people is different, and you have to understand. Like it's different than just playing the game yourself. And for some players, it translates very well, and they're able to step into that role, and they love it and they excel at it. And for some, not as much. And then we don't know for Paul Coffey yet. We don't know. Now we do know that he has been around players in a semi-development standpoint. Like it's not like he hasn't had some coaching experience in that regards, but it's different than being full-time as an assistant behind the bench. So it's going to take some time for him. I'm sure there's going to be things for him to learn, but it's too early to tell one way or the other on that. But I mean, yeah, some guys that play are cut out for coaching, and some not as much. And we don't know yet, because we haven't seen enough of Paul Coffey. Now, again, I'm hoping and hopeful that he is. I would say that as a person, because I've had some interaction with him at some of the Oilers alumni events and been on the ice with him a couple times, as far as how he carries himself and treats, at least in those environments, the people around him, I am not concerned that he's not going to figure out how to communicate. In my experience with him, again, very, very small, very limited, but it certainly was extremely approachable. And yeah, he was, you could tell. I'm trying to put it into words, but
Right.
you could tell there's some people and some players and some guys that were really good don't have this, but some, and you think like and some people, like there's just some people, by the way that they treat and they talk to people, you can tell a great deal about them. And I think Paul Coffey's going to be fine. That's I guess my really quick take, but overall, yeah, it's probably still a little too early.
Couple of nasty chats about Coffey and his coaching history. Pilsner 771 says Marty St. Louis is coaching the Montreal Canadiens, and he only coached AAA minor hockey before that. Everyone needs to chill about Coffey. And then Pilsner 771 also adds Ken Hitchcock used to work at a sports store in Edmonton, but I think he was coaching too while he was.
We could tell a lot of stories about Ken Hitchcock and his coaching.
Didn't he work at Riverside or play at Riverside Golf Course all the time?
Oh, probably. And he stood on the bench and coached from the bench, wouldn't go on the ice and couldn't skate. And there's a lot of stories. You can go find them if you want about Ken Hitchcock. Now, tactically, he understood the game, especially in the clutch and grab era, how to play a trap, how to slow people down, how to have big defensemen that just hold everybody and make it so you can't move. Like there's things he did that he understood, that systematically he understood the game. But yeah, I mean, I think for guys that see the game at an incredible offensive level, it's different because not everyone has those skills and the ability to see that game. And I think, like you said, it can be difficult at times to translate to other people, depending on how you're trying to encourage the player, have them play. And it doesn't or isn't going to always work. But again, I think it will. I hope it will. I guess.
I think a lot of people hopes it will. Tristan texts in, says Coffey is there just to bring experience and make Knobloch feel more comfortable so he can handle the moment. That might be true. Jesse messages us via the nasty chat. Jesse Willis says, at the end of Coffey's career, he was a shutdown D-man in Detroit. He knows how to defend. I think in Detroit, he was still a little bit offensive. I know when he got to like Carolina and Boston, and he was kind of being traded around the league a bit and was reluctant to retire. I think it was like around 99, 2000. Maybe he was a shutdown guy. I kind of remember him there. But yeah, I mean, the older you get, the more you have to adapt your game. And Jesse, you're probably right. He probably had to learn how to focus on the defensive side of the game because it couldn't just wheel through everybody and then slip one past the goalie wearing deer skin pads that was 5'7", because the guys were starting to get a lot bigger, a lot more athletic by the time Coffey retired. Tango wants to know, Cass, can anyone teach Bouchard the defensive zone?
Yeah, I don't think it's about teaching him the defensive zone. It's teaching him to have a killer instinct in the defensive zone. Like if you look positionally, he was fine positionally on that play. He just got out battled. And that's the passivity that creeps into his game when he's not playing well. Again, some of that patience serves him extremely well offensively, and he's able to do some great things because of it. But it can also bite you in the defensive zone, and we've seen it bite him a number of times. Really hard to coach that into somebody.
Mm-hmm.
Very difficult to coach that into somebody. Now, can they do it? Maybe. Is Paul Coffey the one to do it? Maybe. But if Evan Bouchard wants to be as effective defensively as he can be offensively, he's got to find a little bit more sandpaper, I think is the common term to his game.
There was an incident. There's a text I'm going to read here about Bouchard. It's a deep dive. It's a long one. I'll read it. But there was a moment where Bouchard was working up the wall towards a loose puck, and he kind of like lunged his stick half-heartedly at it and then did a TV turn back and just gave Seattle possession. I was like, what was that? But on the offensive side, he can give you a lot, and we saw that tonight from Bouchard. All right, Al texts in and says, hey, boys, I don't agree with Cass's take on Bouchard. The problem with just using the eye test, it brings him bias based on the numbers alone. He's been on for 705 shots for, 576 against, 66 goals for, 57 against, and expected goals for of 58%, 714 scoring chances for, 512 scoring chances against, and the big one, 307 high danger chances for, and 208 high danger chances against. These are all 5-on-5. To say he is bad defensively is pure nonsense and not supported by any data at all. Eyes alone aren't an evaluating tool, hence all NHL teams spending millions tracking this data. Al, they are spending a lot of money on tracking that data, but I don't know if it's into the millions.
All right, so let's unpack this a little bit here.
Yeah.
So if you could pull me up the numbers for how many times he's got stripped of the puck in the defensive zone and they have scored immediately afterwards.
I can count 15 of those instances on the top of my head this season
just thinking through those instances.
Yeah, like Minnesota, again, there was like 3.
He had the one against Philly. He had the one tonight.
Philly.
It is a repetitive problem.
Yeah.
And I did not say he's horrible defensively. But when he makes mistakes defensively, they typically cost the team. Correct. And typically his mistakes, when he makes them, are being too soft, are not being engaged, or is being passive in the defensive zone. Now, is he a good puck mover? Yes, he's a good puck mover.
Absolutely.
Does he help the team create offense and those high danger scoring chances for? Absolutely.
Yep.
I quite blatantly said at the start of the show, I mean, like the tale of two cities, because he did some great things offensively, had 2 tremendous plays that directly led to goals. 2 fake slap shots, 2 different plays, fantastic pass to Nurse or to Evander Kane on his first goal for the shot tip. And so don't misjudge what I'm saying. But if Bouchard, because those were critical moments in a tie hockey game that they got scored on because he was passive. I did not say he's horrible defensively all the time.
Right. I
was talking about coaching into the intensity in his game. And I even said, because we were talking about a text where someone said, how do you teach him defense? It's not like positionally he's not bad. I didn't say, I even quite blatantly said positionally he's not bad positionally. He's usually where he's supposed to be.
Right.
But there are crucial moments where he's passive and it hurts the team in big, important moments.
Yeah.
In big, important moments. So what am I, even the numbers, what do those analytics tell me? Those analytics tell me, based on what I've seen on my eye test, when I hear those, yeah, he does some really good things offensively. But you have to dig into that, and you have to unpack those numbers deeper, and you have to pull more numbers about and even with that, because the stats, the analytics that you pulled are not the analytics the Oilers use.
Mm-hmm.
They're not.
They have a different system. It's a more in-depth.
Everyone has their own system,
Yeah.
and you need
Yeah.
to, because if you're actually going to have analytics that truly actually mean anything and truly actually are helpful to an organization, which is why they pump money into it, you need to have the exact same people doing it. You can't have a computer doing it. Exact same people doing it over and over and over again. And the exact same person that's doing it over and over and over again has to have a very defined set of what they're going to call what. And on top of that, there still is a observatory eye test that has to go along with that, because guess what? How are you judging what's a high danger scoring chance or not?
Right.
That's not from a spreadsheet. You're using your eyes to tell you it.
Yeah.
And so the analytics, they're completely subjective.
Yes.
All those plays are completely subjective. So there are two things that go hand in hand that you need to look at. And again, wasn't saying that Bouchard was bad, horrible in the defensive zone, or is horrible in the defensive zone.
Right.
I'm not.
Right.
I'm not. I didn't say that. I said he's in the right position. When he makes mistakes, they're typically big mistakes.
Yeah.
When he makes mistakes, they're typical passive mistakes. And I don't know how you coach that into the game.
Yeah.
I think he's a smart player. You see that in offense. You see that positionally in the defensive zone. He knows where to go. He knows where to try to move the puck. But at times, his passivity gets him into trouble. That's what I'm saying.
And Cass, I'll add this to what you said. The frustrating part, or what adds to the frustration with Bouchard, is he is capable of playing good defense at the NHL level, because we've seen it for 2 straight springs into the playoffs. And then it's like a regression at the start of the next season, which is frustrating, certainly. So I know you wanted to clarify, and Al had a bunch of numbers that he wrote out a pretty long text, and just wanted to get to that.
And Al, we love you. Thanks for listening. And thanks for staring it in. And I know I get fired up about that stuff, but I do appreciate you listening. And I think analytics are important. Numbers are important.
Yeah. And it is
important.
And it is good to have these conversations too.
Yep.
Can't always agree with one another, and that's just fine. That's why we do this. It's part of the fun. Okay, Cass, we're waiting on some clips, and we'll get to those. YouTube Trev will give us the heads up when we're good to go. Cass, when you need to duck out, just send me a note, and we'll take care of business. 780-218-9999. If you want to text us, if you're listening in the car, on the TuneIn app, or via our audio stream, that's how you can get a hold of us. And then on the Nasty Chat, if you're watching on the EST YouTube channel, this text comes in. It says, thoughts on 11-7. Is it dead with Knobloch?
Potentially. I mean, that'll be one of the interesting things, isn't it? Now, especially that he has, I guess maybe not. If Adam Ernie gets suspended, he might be forced to go to it. So and depends on Connor Brown and how soon he comes back too, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it'll be interesting. I don't think that anyone asked him that question yet. If that's something that he's going to look at doing, I don't think so.
Yeah, Derek Van Diest from NHL.com asked him about it. The first comment, and again, I'm going back to earlier in the day, was he didn't like toss it away, but he kind of had this reaction like, it's hard, it's difficult. And then he described how, if you have a couple of guys like McDavid and Draisaitl and you want to double shift them, that's certainly an option. But I didn't get the sense when I was in the Hall of Fame room this morning and then watching the presser again on the pregame show, I didn't get the sense that he seems like a guy that's for 11-7 and wants to go down that road and take that route willingly, unless he gets forced into it. You know what I mean? Like, that's the sense I got from how he answered it.
Yeah. And we'll have to see. I mean, again, it depends. Some of it depends on roster and cap and flexibility and which bodies you have. So we'll have to see.
All right. Someone texted in and said, do we need to have an intervention for Gager? Is he doing okay over there?
I don't know. I hope Gager's doing okay.
Gager, blink twice if you're okay. McTavish texts in, says, Malone is twice the player Ernie is. Send him down and put Malone on the plane. Yeah, I like Brad Malone. Great guy, too. And gives you an honest effort. But I don't know. I don't know what into the thinking of getting Ernie up there. Maybe they wanted younger legs. They think he moves better. Certainly probably staring down a suspension after his high hit to the head of Pierre-Edouard Bellemare. Norman at Combine. Hey, Norm. Says Oilers went up 1-0. I left and went to the grocery store. I get home, it's 3-1. Oil come back. I will never leave again during a game. Norman at Combine. Thanks for that one. Always good to hear from you. Cass, this one's for you. It says, Cass, did you use a Lord of the Rings reference to describe the coach's rationale to go with the nuclear option? That's awesome if you did.
Absolutely, I did. Huge closet nerd. So actually, not so closet nerd. I flaunt my nerdiness. So yes, that absolutely was a Lord of the Rings reference, and I will use one again.
That was good. This text from Eden says we need a larger sample size to see what Knobloch really thinks of his roster and whether McDry are a regular pair again. 8 combined power plays, lots of special teams. Yeah, there were. PK had a good night, which is nice to see. This one from Justin says, nice win. And TG and Cass, Saturday afternoon would be a nice time for Connor and Leon to both have huge games and take the focus off the D core for a minute. I think we would both agree with that, Cass. I think we'd both agree with that, right?
Yep.
Sean says, puck luck goes beyond just the puck going in the net. Once in a while, a call or missed call going your way requires some luck too. Dry got away with one in the final minute. I didn't think the Jaden Schwartz penalty was that egregious either. Am I crazy? Where he fell down?
No. No. I mean, it was. Listen, I don't think it was. So people can't get mad at us in the future when we complain about the officiating, as we undoubtedly will. Is sometimes they're bad and they're bad for you. But no, I didn't think the only really egregious one was the Ernie hit, which I thought could have been a 5. And then, the maybe egregious, semi-egregious missed call and Draisaitl that ends up being a goal too.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Fair enough. Taco. Hello, Taco. Hey, boys. Great comeback tonight. Kane has been a bright spot this season. Seems to give you what compared to many of his teammates. I'm happy for the team and fans, but let's not forget that Seattle blew a ton of golden scoring chances, missed a few empty nets. This could have been ugly pretty early. I wish the Oil played with a little more urgency throughout the game. I feel like we got a little lucky tonight. Signed, Taco.
Well, you're not wrong. Taco's not wrong.
No, not at all.
Taco's not wrong. It was an certainly ugly game, but you found a way to win. You got a couple good bounces, good save from Darnell Nurse, saving an empty net goal that gives you a chance, and you find a way to win in overtime. Again, good teams find ways to win in ugly hockey games. Now, the Oilers haven't done it yet this year. This is the first one. They're going to have to do it again.
Big Uke says, at the end of the day, they don't ask how, they just ask how many. Take this and keep building. Also, there's 100 Hitchcock stories, and he won a cup not skating, so he's an outlier, and the show would simply be boring if Cass actually liked analytics. Cass, again, to reiterate, you've recognized and appreciate what analytics provides. You're just not.
Can I clarify one more thing on that?
Yeah.
Just to touch on it, because it is so important. The analytics that you just find, if you Google hockey analytics, like if I type hockey analytics into a web search and I pull up different analytics websites and I look at their numbers, those aren't good analytics. Now, the ones internally the departments use, sure.
Yeah.
Those ones typically much, much better. Again, same people doing it over and over and over again.
Yeah.
Have your outlines for your subjective basis of what you are seeing in the analytics, and you have to do it repetitively over and over and over again, the exact same thing. And that is where it is useful. The ones that if we just look at it, there are some important things that data can tell us. Absolutely. Of course there are. But is it nearly enough information? No, not even close. Not even close. Because, and I'll just use an example here for Stuart Skinner. Let's use the high danger scoring chance against. Says, the high danger scoring chance against the Edmonton Oilers goalies, their save percentage is way down. Well, yeah, it's way down because they didn't even have a chance on 3/4 of the shots.
Yeah, that's fair.
Because it was a tap in on the back door. So you can't. Don't want to say you can't trust them, but you can't trust those websites. There's not enough data. It's too
subjective.
Yeah. There's no consistency in them.
Having a conversation late last season, regular season, with people in the Oilers hockey ops department who deal with a lot of the analytics. That's not their sole thing, but it ended up being a conversation with 3 or 4 different people all at once, asking about. I think it was Sports Logic was the one site that we were asking about, and how does it stack up? And what we were told was it's pretty good. Like, it really is. It dives really deep. Uh, but what is used commonly among NHL teams has way more data points and layers to it than what's available for free on those types of websites. So
Yep.
just that was a conversation in the press box one day from people in hockey ops about this very topic and how they stack those things up. And they're like, listen, that gives you a good idea, doesn't give you the whole story. What we use and pay for, like the one text, I think it was Al who was saying, millions of bucks. I don't know if it's millions, certainly probably into the hundreds of thousands. But what teams are paying for have more layers and more data points than what we get for free in general. Although
Yep.
they did acknowledge that those give you a nice idea, but it's not the full picture.
Exactly.
So that's just the conversation. I want to pass it on to those that want to have the battle. It's not the obnoxious times of the bloggers versus the MSM. That's dead. That's dead. That was 10 years ago. We don't have to go there again. Everybody can get along. We can have harmony. Let the waters get calm and all that good stuff. So all good. A couple more texts and we'll get some final thoughts from Cass, and then we'll get to some audio and video. 780-218-9999. And the nasty chat, of course, if you're watching. Library Pat says, Nurse deserves huge credit for defending the empty net before Kane scored the tying goal. Yes, sir. Library Pat mentioned it earlier. That was a very impressive play and much needed, certainly to help lead to the equalizer and then the game winner. I'm not going to read what this one says. Hey, expletive heads, we won. 3-game heater.
Yes, we won. We've talked at length about it, Tommy. It was a gutsy win, ugly win, but you need to get those. So it's good they got one, and it's good that it stretches a win streak from 2 games to 3 games. So
yes.
No, we're happy with the win. Very happy with it.
And then Al follows up, says, love you guys too. LOL. Agree with Tom. It's part of the fun. Yes, absolutely. It's good to have a little back and forth. Another text from Pix says, what a comeback, boys. Love the effort after the 3-2 goal went in. Another text, and I'm going to get this thought from you, Cass, and then we're going to look ahead to Saturday afternoon, and then we'll let you go. It says, gents, is it me or does Lavoie look a step or two behind out there? I think the effort is there, but he's just not suited to a fourth line role, in my opinion. I'm sure Brown takes his spot right away. Anyway, thanks from Gags. Gags, thanks for the text. Cass, your thoughts?
Yeah, I mean, he's not fast. And it's tough at the NHL level when you're playing a step behind. I don't know if he's I wouldn't necessarily say a full step behind, but I don't know if his speed is there yet.
Mm-hmm. Looked like he was more comfortable with the puck a little bit.
A little bit more. Yep. A little bit more. But if we're looking at areas he needs to improve, I mean, foot speed is one of them. Or you have to improve on your reads to be positionally sound that you're just always where you need to be. I mean, that's how you make up for foot speed. If you're not a fast guy, you always got to be in the right spot, and you have to be lights out at anticipating where the play is going, where the puck is going, where people are going, just to make sure you never get caught. And is he there yet? I don't know if he's there yet, because maybe, not in the fourth line, but he's not going to fit in the top 2 right now either. He's not playing there. So, yeah, I mean, he's a young guy. There's still time for him to develop and play. But I also do agree with you, Tom, does look a little bit more comfortable out there.
Yeah, just touching the puck. It looks like he's willing to keep it on his stick a little bit longer. Who knows? Maybe he finds a way to get to the right areas at the right time. Doesn't have to be the fastest guy, but yeah, Cass maybe not as fleet of foot as some. But we'll see how things progress. And yeah, Connor Brown's getting very close to returning. Skated again today with the guys who are on the ice for the optional. Okay, Cass, final thoughts from you as the Oilers get set to take on a 6-4 Tampa Bay Lightning squad that has lost 3 straight Granted, Tampa does play Chicago tomorrow night. What will the focus be from an Oilers standpoint? And what do you think of the Tampa Lightning so far?
Yeah, they've certainly had their ups and downs. Goaltending has hurt them. You had one of the best goalies in the world that's been banged up for a good chunk of the season. That hasn't helped. They find themselves in a little bit of a skid. Still an ultra dangerous team. Ultra dangerous team. Now, depending on what happens with Chicago, you could be catching them on a further downswing, or if they win, and I kind of hope they beat Chicago, because then that might sate a little bit. I don't like the idea of going into Tampa playing an afternoon game against a team that's lost 4 in a row, because they probably be chomping at the bit to get a win at home. And from a their preparedness level, I would rather be playing a team that just beat Chicago and maybe is breathing a sigh of relief out of busting a skid. But just like anything, I mean, you're or any time you're going into Tampa, you're playing a very good team, a lot of offensive power. You can't be sleeping.
Yeah.
Cannot be sleeping in an afternoon game. Can't have the naps. Can't have this is normally when I'm shutting down for the afternoon to get ready for the game tonight. You kind of got to be ready, I think, from the drop of the puck for that one. So big thing will be the preparedness and the start to the hockey game for the Edmonton Oilers.
Cass, great work tonight. Fantastic as always. Enjoy your next couple of days, and I look forward to catching up with you on the pregame. Oh no, you're off this weekend, right?
I'm off this weekend. Yeah. I got voluntold is what I said for my wife's got a big event and I got to work all day.
Yes.
So
yes.
helping her out with that. So
all right, you help Mandy out. Well-deserved weekend off from the pre and post game show, and we'll catch up with you next week when we're talking about game 2 of this road trip.
Absolutely. Should be fun, buddy. Look forward to it.
That's our game analyst, Matt Kassian, helping us to break down the Oilers' 4-3 OT victory over the Seattle Kraken. Tom Gazzola, YouTube Trev with you. We're going to get to some comments from the players, as well as Chris Knobloch coming up shortly. If you want to text us, by all means, 780-218-9999. And then the nasty chat's going good. All right, I see some arguments over Darnell Nurse. Some people saying, hey, you played good the last couple of games. Gordon says that. Schmills Mills says Nurse saved the game. And then R. Kimmett saying Nurse has been good all season is delusional. He has had a couple of decent games in a row. Hope it continues because we need it. And tonight was a good game for Darnell Nurse. Another text says, hey, just something funny to bring up. Hyman and the penalty box guy's face as that Desharnais pass into the empty net almost happened. Yeah, I think there was about 18,500 people who had the same look on their face when he did the no-look back pass that was supposed to be a reverse that hit the side of the net and for a second looked like it might go in with the goalie pulled for the extra attacker on the delayed penalty. My goodness. Dodged a bullet. But yeah, funny moment there. Hyman and the guy in the penalty box game official and their reaction to it. I like that. Thanks for the text. This one says, did you already talk about why McDavid didn't start tonight? Yes, we did. We saw a different strategy from Chris Knobloch. McDavid was playing, I think someone said the shift before the end of the third period was 1:45. And then the other thing too, in regard to strategy, instead of, battling for possession of the puck, apologies. That is the dog. My bad. All right, let's just go to clips as she barks. So let's go to Stuart Skinner if we have it, YouTube Trev.
Yes, this is Stuart Skinner, and here we go.
Where, felt like the game in a lot of ways was kind of hanging in the balance, and you came up with a pretty nice glove save. What did you sort of sense from your group in that moment? Tell us about that save.
In the third period?
Yeah.
It was good. It was able to get the guys going. I mean, the guys were going the whole entire period. I just needed to come up with that save, and being able to do that, the guys took over from there. Got a big, huge goal with about 5 minutes left, and yeah, the guys just did their job, battled hard. We won a lot of puck battles in the third period. That's just a huge thanks to the guys in front of me.
Was that talked about after the second, because you hadn't won a lot of battles in the first 40 minutes?
A little bit, yeah. It was definitely about us just making sure that we were getting the puck out when we get the puck from on the sides. But the guys battled hard tonight. I want to say the PK was outstanding, and that's a huge reason why we won.
It must be satisfying, like as a goalie. Your job's to, give your team a chance. Maybe if they're not playing great, you got to keep them in it, This one, you had to keep them in for quite a long time before the goals started to go in. Get a chance to win, I guess.
Thank you. Yeah, it's always a nice feeling that you give your team a chance to win, and that's my job, and I'm going to try to do that every night.
When you're starting at 3-1, are you thinking you might have to make a big save? Like 4-1 might be a little too insurmountable to come back from, or is that go through your mind at all?
I try to just stick to the script. Do my job, make every save that I can. And from there, it's the guys in front of me that just did a great job being able to battle back. Obviously, if you get down 4-1, it's a little bit tougher to get by. But again, the guys in front of me, they stuck to it. We didn't change anything, even though that we were down 2 goals, and that was massive.
Did you get a look at the Darren A shot that hit your post? You weren't there to.
Oh, I saw it. Yeah, I saw it last second. I'm curious if it would have counted or not. I think it touched their guy, but who knows? Didn't go in.
3 games in a row now, 3 wins, but you personally, it's 5 goals against, under 2 per game. Where do you feel your game? Is your game now where you want it to be?
Yeah, it's definitely improved. It's gotten a lot better, and at the same time, the guys in front of me have been doing just a fantastic job. Again, talking about the PK, I don't think we've let in a goal in the last 3 games, maybe 1. I'm not too sure exactly what it is, but I mean that's massive. That being able to do that allows you to win games. So again, just huge credit to the guys in front of me.
Oh, Tommy, I think you're muted, Tommy.
Apologies. That was Stuart Skinner, 28 save performance, picking up the win tonight. A couple of really nice saves, especially early on, and then the big glove save in the third period to help the Oilers claw their way back into the game and get the victory. Evander Kane with the hat trick in the third period and into OT. All right, we have some more audio and video to get to. Let's go to Darnell Nurse, who had a huge play late in the game defensively.
Just early, but then he makes that save in the third period with the glove when things are getting a little crazy, just how stabilizing that is.
Yeah, it was spectacular for us tonight. Made some big saves at big moments and kept our group in it, and we were able to capitalize when our chances came.
You don't want to be down, but is there something to be said for what a come-from-behind win can do for a team that's just kind of been through some tough stuff here? Kind of really give you that boost?
Yeah, I mean, we talk in here about being a resilient group. We've seen it countless times. I know for the guys that have been here for a while, the resiliency in this group and showing up on our backs against the wall, I don't think that can really be questioned. So it's great to see it tonight, and it's a big win that puts a few together for us.
What about your play late there? Because it looked like, I think it was McCann it's almost clear, but you dove back and kind of just take us through the frantic moments there.
Yeah, no, I mean, like empty netter, those guys are going to try to make a play at it, and they're usually pretty good at it. So tried to get everything I could in front of it and got a piece of it. So it ended up giving us a chance to score one late.
Is that fat lip from that elbow?
Oh, right to the jaw. Yeah, right to the jaw.
I saw you have a conversation. Did the official say you missed it, or?
No. Yeah, I don't know. He was on the other side of the ice, so it's tough. Things happen out there so fast, and when you get hit in the face, you get a little emotional. I'm sure they don't like that, but at the end of the day, everything happens so fast, and it's all good. That's what hockey's about.
Looks like it hurts to talk. Is it hurting to talk right now?
No, I just got like a chunk of flesh that keeps going through between my teeth. I'm like, I'm gonna have to get that one chopped off.
Big picture here, Darnell. I mean, I don't know if you'd agree or not, but fair to say you guys didn't have your game here for a chunk of it. Is it just? I know you're still trying to find it a little bit. Is it? What do you think happened tonight in the early going, and it took you some time to find it?
Yeah, I think for us, we want to have the same start that we have. Played in the third the last 2 games. I think that our start 2 games ago was pretty good, and then we settled in, and the last 2 games our third period has been really good for us. So if we're able to piece that all together, I think the important part is even when it's not going perfect for us. We've been sticking to it and not trying to force too much, not trying to put ourselves in positions where we're chasing the game, and that's got to continue.
All right, there's Darnell Nurse joking about his fat lip, and a huge play defensively in the third period to help lead the Oilers to the comeback. Evander Kane with the natural hat trick and the hero in OT. Let's hear from him now.
Best stuff through 40, but how much does it come from behind win maybe help this group right now?
Yeah, I mean, obviously going into a long road trip here, to get a couple wins finally at home in a row is nice, and you know, we've come back before down going into the third period. It was nice to be able to do that for the first time this year.
You have a natural hat trick before?
I have, yes.
And second time? Or third? I don't want to.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe third. I don't know.
It's going to take some magic for a team that was in 31st place to climb all the way back, right?
Yeah.
Is that what some of this is? Whether you deserve it or not, you're walking there with 2 points.
Yeah, I mean, again, I'm kind of beating a dead horse. I think our play was better than our record was prior to, but at the same time, we were giving up way too much, and the pucks weren't going to the net. And I think, obviously, these last couple of games, we've had big third periods, and they've propelled us to wins, and I think we're starting to find our groove a little bit here.
So the emotional difference between where this game was headed and where it ended up is pretty massive. How important is it to the guys in this room that you come out of here with winning this?
Yeah, I mean, we talked about it in the second intermission. You know, we got to create some energy. We got to flick the switch, and I thought we did a pretty good job. We got in a little penalty trouble in that first half of the third period, and our penalty trouble did a great job. Stu was big, made the saves he had to, and you know, Nursey saving that empty net goal off the face-off there was a huge play, obviously, to help us win the game. So that was a great play.
Big picture, Evander. I mean, you've talked before about, you know, when your teammates play physical, when the group plays physical, how that can sort of, you know, lead to good things for you guys.
Yeah.
Where do you think this group is at in terms of kind of that overall battle level and physicality level that you know needs to be there to?
Yeah. I mean, I think it can obviously improve greatly. You know, I think we all know that in this room. I think that's only going to lead to more scoring opportunities for us when you get all 20 guys playing that way. I think some of the goals we gave up, you know, we could have been a little harder, a little firmer. But as I said, I think we did a good job of not being deterred and not having a letdown going into the third period after that second and pushing to get a victory.
You have a group where maybe not as many guys have that in their game by nature. Is it incumbent on everybody to try and find more of that, even if it's maybe not what their bread and butter is?
I think everybody has to find a way to contribute in a positive way to the game, whichever way that is. And I think, you know, if you get more guys doing that on a consistent basis, you're going to have success. And you know, the last 2 games, so we've made some mistakes, but I thought guys have been doing a good job for the most part of bringing a positive influence to the game, and we've had some success.
The guys that are getting it done, though, are like 5 feet from the net guys. It would seem here recently.
Yeah, I mean, that's where we have to score goals right now. You know, I think a lot of our goals are coming from around the net, as you mentioned, and guys are going there, and when we put pucks there, it makes it more important to go there, and it creates guys wanting to go there when pucks are going to the net.
So you were saying, you know, your play was better than the record, and the numbers like prove that. You know, Darnay hits the post, you get the late goals, Skinner makes the save. Those are the kind of things that you needed to fall your way the last little while, and maybe they are now.
Yeah, you know, when you keep working, you stick with it, as I think our entire group has done. The bounces and the chances and the finish will eventually come, and you know, we've seen a little bit of that, obviously. Guys are making some really good plays out there, and you know, we had a little bit of finish in the third period.
There you go. There's the hero of the night, Evander Kane, the natural hat trick. I saw some debate in the nasty chat over what is a natural hat trick. It's just 3 goals by the same player, uninterrupted by a goal by an opposing player or a teammate. Doesn't have to be in one period or anything like that. So natural hat tricks, just 3 in a row by one guy in a game, which Evander Kane certainly did, picking up the Hattie, and a great way to see the end of a game. His 5th, 6th, and 7th goals of the season. The team celebrating a win with all those hats raining down. I can't remember seeing that too often, and I don't remember the last time I saw that. And certainly for the Oilers, it's had to have happened in recent years for players from other teams, but a unique way to end the night in oil country for sure. And Kane plays the hero among a few others. Stuart Skinner, who we heard from and saw earlier, as well as Darnell Nurse with a huge defensive play late in that game to give the Oilers a shot to tie it up. All right, YouTube Trev, do we have Chris Knobloch?
Yes, we do. You
All
ready?
right. Yeah.
Right on. This is Chris Knobloch after the Oilers 4-3 comeback win.
What you saw from your team through 40 minutes and what maybe changed in the third period?
I thought I saw a 50-50 game in the first period. I saw a team relax and make a lot of mistakes after we made it 1-0. It was pretty good period, first 8 minutes, I believe. And then we scored, and I think shift after, we created a turnover, or we turned the puck over, and they scored, and just the rest of the period was probably we did everything we didn't want to do. Third period, we played with a lot of passion, we worked hard, we won a lot of battles, and just really worked to score goals. And, things have to go well, and some of our guys made some really nice plays to score those goals. But I think first of all, they worked for them, and then they showed their skill.
What did you sense from your group when they went down 2 goals? This team this year, it's been a rough go, and you wonder if maybe there's some of the here we go again type thing that naturally sets in. What did you sense from them when they got down a couple there?
Well, I think I'm not sure when exactly they scored that third goal, when we got down 2, but that, like I said, that last 12 minutes of the second period was almost rock bottom, in my opinion. I didn't think we played well at all. But in the third period, we just showed a lot of passion and perseverance to stick with it.
So obviously not the 60-minute blueprint you're looking for going forward, but maybe what's the emotional value of this win beyond the 2 points, which are crucial as well? I mean, the way this game was heading compared to the way it ended up is pretty significant.
Yeah, you never want. The season's never going to be easy, and there's never going to be no adversity. And the more things that you work through and fight through and have success when it's all done, it's great for team building. Guys feel good, and then the next time things are in a difficult situation, they know they can handle it, and they know they can do this. So, yeah. And would I have liked us to win 5-0 and it would have been easy because we played perfectly? Yes. But hopefully the way that we won today makes us a better team in the long run.
Stuart Skinner has started the season pretty slowly. Goaltending was one of the issues. Do you kind of see that worm turning a little bit over?
What I've seen, I've been very impressed. I think he's played really well. I think the chances that we gave up, and he only gave up 3 tonight, I think he played really well. And so that's 2 games I've seen him play, and I've been very happy, and obviously we would like him to continue what he's doing.
Chris, just back here. I'm just curious about some of the tinkering you did in the top 6, I think, second period, and maybe touched on it a little in the third too. Can you explain kind of what happened there?
Mostly just coming out of the penalty kills. You got McDavid sitting there. Depending on how long the penalty kills was, or where the face-off is, it kind of determines how we use Draisaitl. If it's on his strong side, he'll start. If it's somewhere else, then we're going with somebody else. But you want those guys out there immediately after the penalty kill. And then the only way to do that is if they're playing together. And I think they scored immediately after one of the penalty kills when they were on a line together. And you're like, all right, there's some excitement, there's some chemistry going. Let's build that. And then we kind of played that until for the rest of the second period. And then we kind of went away from it in the third.
Wonder about starting overtime with 2 defensemen. Is that something that you feel comfortable with? Is there something that you kind of saw that made you want to try that? What goes into?
Well, you always want to put your best players on, but if you lose the face-off, you're going to spend about a minute trying to get that puck back. And I don't want my 2 best offensive players having to defend a minute, because once you get the puck, then most likely they're changing. So what we wanted to do was win the draw and make that switch right away.
Chris, what did you like about your penalty kill tonight specifically? Another strong game. Is an area that's been struggling, but what did you like about it?
Well, good penalty kills, usually goaltending. Goaltending will usually influence if your penalty kill has success or not. So obviously the goaltending was good. But what I saw was a group of guys willing to block shots from our defensemen, our forwards. I think there were some mistakes out there, but I'm seeing a lot of buy-in and commitment to make the play and prevent goals from going in, or at least making it hard for the other team to score goals. I don't know how many block shots we had. I think it was quite a few of them on the penalty kill, and I think that has been the biggest reason.
The second period all year, and I know you've only been here for 2 games, and even the 2 games you've been here, you don't have a goal and you've been outscored. Is there anything you're seeing in that long change at all that's leading to your squad struggling this year? And last year they were very good in the second period.
Yeah, no, I think it's such a small sample size to really see. Usually if you're having troubles in the second period, it's puck management. You're not getting the pucks in deep to get good changes. They counter right away without especially hard for the defenseman to get changes. Do I see that we've been guilty of that and we haven't been able to get changes? No, so I don't have an answer for that.
Chris, can you talk to the play Darnell Nurse made? It would have been 4-2 if he doesn't block that shot.
Yes, the game would have been over. We don't have 2 points unless he makes that defensive play. And yeah, that's a huge play, and obviously the guys who score the goals get the recognition, and they should, but guys who make plays like that should also, and that's a huge play.
So in the overtime, are you just keep rolling 2 forwards? I mean, Hyman and Kane don't normally get a lot of work in the overtime because it's always McDavid and Draisaitl and Nugent Hopkins for the most part.
Well, no, yeah. Well, what happened was we started off with 2 defensemen and forward. They were out there for about a minute and a half. Obviously, McDavid's going to be the next forward out there. Nugent Hopkins is the next forward. And Draisaitl, after taking a long shift, needed to catch his legs and catch his breath. So we needed 2 other guys to go out after that, and those were our 2 that we chose. And yeah, so yeah, Kane looked pretty good out there and made it look like I made a good decision.
And you beat Dave Hackstall, so his mother will be torn tonight.
I'm just happy all the Oiler fans had a good time tonight and enjoyed the win.
It seems like a lot of the good momentum shifting moments that your team has been having, it's kind of in and around that 5 to 10 feet from the net, even the last, during this 3-game winning streak here. Are you seeing enough of that consistently from everybody, understanding the importance of being willing to get there?
Yeah, well, we want to pay the price to score goals, and that's one, and prevent them. And usually that comes down to a lot of work around the net. Fighting for, defensively, getting under sticks and boxing players out. Offensively, beating your guy to the net and putting yourself in position to score goals. So, if you want to score regularly, those are the things you have to do.
And just a big picture thought, maybe you can apply it to tonight's game, but from a physicality standpoint, what do you like to see from your team? How much do you want to see them finishing checks and playing physical? And what's your thought on that element of the game and what you saw tonight?
I want to see our team play physical. Yeah, absolutely. That's an important part of the game. You have players that are definitely going to be hitting more than others, but it's very important that you're not making hits and putting yourself out of position. There's places on the ice that you definitely want to hit, usually on the forward check, maybe but in the defensive zone, you make a big hit in the defensive zone, you're probably getting yourself out of position. So it's a fine line of playing physical and playing responsible.
All right, there is Chris Knobloch, 2-0 as head coach of the Edmonton Oilers. We'll look to make it 3-0 Saturday afternoon in Tampa against the Lightning. The Oilers off to a 4-game Eastern Conference road trip. They'll practice here tomorrow, fly out to Tampa shortly after the practice, and give themselves an extra day to get acclimated to the time zone and to the Heat in Florida. So not a bad situation indeed. And nice to go into it with a 3-game winning streak. All right, we're going to get into the player of the game, brought to you by Damon Bunting, RE/MAX Elite. Damon Bunting, consistent, top-producing realtor in Greater Edmonton and among RE/MAX realtors. He and his team would love to help you find that right home or make the move from your current home. Check him out on DamonBunting.com or visit his Instagram at Damon Bunting Real Estate. YouTube, Trev, time to have your say, my friend.
Let's go. What is up, Nasty Chat? How we doing tonight? I see right now 118 likes. By the time I'm done this, I challenge you guys. Let's see if we can get that, or at least by the end of the video, to 150. Okay, that's the challenge. So, Tommy, what a great way to end the night. Honestly, I was the Darnell Nurse save there. I was like, oh gosh, this is just all of a sudden I was so sad again, and then. All of a sudden, I was through the roof. I was in the studio by myself tonight, and I don't know if anyone was in the building, but they probably heard me when Kaner finished off the hat trick. So that was pretty sweet. From Stuart Skinner's big save to keep them in, several big saves from McDavid. He's definitely getting his legs back. He's skating. He's looking real good. A lot of real good players and a lot of turning points in this game. But as far as it goes, I mean, Evander Kane, natural hat trick. It's kind of crazy how that works out. Zach Hyman, he had a natural hat trick, and then Leon's winger as of late, his other winger, his left winger, Evander Kane, gets another natural hat trick. How cool was that in OT? Doesn't get any better. OT wins. There's nothing better than that. OT losses. I mean, that's tough. So it was definitely nice to see them to get the dub tonight. But as for the player of the game, Evander Kane, I mean, 3 goals, 2+2, 1 game winning goal, 5 shots on net. He was a difference maker out there. And, even though he wasn't driving the play, sometimes you can just be that complimentary player. Right player, or right play, right time, and that's exactly kind of what he was tonight. From Leon Draisaitl sauce to him, just to bank it in. From Zach Hyman, he was that guy tonight. It's good to be lucky and lucky to be good. And Evander Kane, he for sure is your Damon Bunting player of the game. So atta be Kaner, and we're at 134 likes. So keep those coming, guys.
Atta B, YouTube Trev, nicely done, pal. Great stuff there on the player of the game. Of course, brought to you as always by Damon Bunting, RE/MAX Elite. All right, so the Oilers get their 5th win of the season, 3rd consecutive victory. They're on a streak now. They'll look to extend it to 4 wins in a row. Tampa struggling a little bit of late. They've dropped 3 straight and have a 6-6-4 record. They will face the Chicago Blackhawks tomorrow night, so we'll see how that game goes. Keep tabs on that, and then we'll be on the air at 12:30. Yes, 12:30 for the Oil Stream pregame show shortly after Hello Hockey with myself and Sean Bell, and YouTube Trev producing that one as well. So that'll do it for the Oil Stream post-game show. Huge thank you to everyone who tuned in, texted in, watched us on the EST YouTube channel. We appreciate you. Like YouTube Trev said, smash that thumbs up. Let's get to 150 before we wrap up this show in the dying seconds here. Maybe save it late in the game like the Oilers did and Evander Kane did, and then get the OT winner by putting us over 150 likes. We would appreciate that so much. That does it for Matty Kassian and YouTube Trev. I'm Tom Gazzola saying thank you once again, and we'll talk to you tomorrow. Ciao for now.